Hello, everyone. Danny here, and I have the lovely Amber who's going to give us the insights on brand strategy. And before I started this recording, I guess, I talked about how, oh, I need to be better on the time. And she's like, that has something to do with your brand strategy. So maybe we'll get into that among other things. But I will let Amber take it away.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. I am just absolutely tickled to be here. This is a fabulous opportunity. I love authors. I love soon-to-be authors, want-to-be authors, hugely successful, been doing this for 50 years, love of my life authors. And in part it's because their brands are second to them, maybe even fifth or sixth. Some authors, I will get into this as well. The brand comes somewhere like after page 10 on their list of things to do. Um, and my intention here, just full transparency, is to help you change that. Because really, yeah, there's so much more out there. And I know Danny talks a great deal about your story is important and you get to share your story, gets to be your voice and your way of doing it. And when your brand comes on page 10, that doesn't happen, which means the people that you most want to impact don't have that opportunity. So there's the preview. There's just a little teaser. But I want to get started very informally. So it's a small enough group that if you have a question, just holler and interrupt. I have a tendency to get very excited when I start talking about these things. So if I don't, I may not notice a very polite professional hand raise. So just holler. Um, I'm wondering, as we get started into this, are you writing a book that you intend to have no one read, like ever? The reason I ask that is because writing on their own without a mentor guiding them, 97% of people who start a book will never finish it. And only 1 to 2% of those who finish the book will ever actually get it published. Again, working on their own, left to their own devices. I think it's crazy that as authors, we would spend so much time and energy and money, like all of our resources, into creating something that we designed from the start to never be read, to never be experienced. Now, I know what you may be thinking. You're certainly not intending to have no one read your book, but the hard, cold, book saving truth is that if you don't finish your book, no one will read it. And if you do finish your book, but you don't brand yourself and your book well, no one will read it. So as I said before, I want to change that. That is my absolute intention here today. And I want to give you an opportunity to do authoring a little differently. So you may be asking yourself, okay, Amber, who the heck are you and why are you saying all this nonsense? Here's who I am. I'm Amber Griffiths. I have written books that are international #1 bestsellers. I work alongside someone who ghostwrites for businesses and has ghostwritten for some top names in Forbes, Entrepreneur Magazine, Social Media Marketer, and more. I show people, including TEDx speakers, how to make money with the information and stories that they're sharing. I guide people how to show up and be heard, deliver their own moxie, and get people to not just pay attention to them, but to be unable to forget them. I'm considered the go-to expert on legend creation, and I've helped businesses such as a 90s pop band, Coca-Cola, and major national real estate brokerage all more fully actualize their legend potential. But this isn't just here in the US. I've been asked to be the brand expert for an international business association looking to improve its presence in the United States. From those experiences, as well as countless other clients that I've worked with, there are some core truths that people either don't know or they knew but forgot. You know how we get caught up in doing all the things, running 27 different directions all at the same time? We forget sometimes. So one of these core truths is nobody really writes a book that they will hope no one will ever read. But unfortunately, many design it to be exactly that, because they engage in what I consider an absolute crime, misstep, travesty. And that is the crime is brand by default. So you see, people decide whether to buy your book before they ever open the cover. And the sad thing is, you may have the best story, the most dynamic characters, and the best writing style. But if you don't nail your branding, no one will read your book. There's a look and a feel and an experience that drives people to buy. And there's another look, feeling, and experience that drives them to open the book and read it once they purchased it. Yes, there are a sizable number of readers who will buy books and never go back and actually read them, or they're given books and never actually read them. But if you don't have those two pieces, the experience that leads them to buy, plus the experience that leads them to open it and consume it, no one will read your book, let alone leave a glowing review or share your book with others. So if you don't want to be one of those walking wounded, you don't want to put all that time and effort and energy and heart and passion into a book and have nobody read it, I'm inviting you to roll up your sleeves, kick off your shoes, get comfy. We're going to get into it a little bit today. And I am aware of our time, so we're going to move through as much as we can, making sure that you have something to walk away and do today. So, you ready? Okay. The single most important thing to getting your book sold and read is that people actually have to know whether you and your book are right for them to buy. I know, it sounds crazy. But if someone can't tell if you and your book are right for them before they buy, they likely won't buy. And while there are components, many components of legend branding that can help you sell more books, I want to cover the three most important ones for those of you here today. So before we jump into that, I want to get to know a little bit more about who you are. And we're going to do this super quick because of our time limit. But just so you're warned, you are probably going to feel like you don't have enough time to go into this. That's intentional. It's okay, so stick with me. So we're going to create a likeness of you. Essentially, I want you to draw a stick figure. It doesn't have to be pretty. Make sure it has a head, arms, legs. I don't care how many fingers, if you decide to draw fingers at all. So basically just do a stick figure. Then at the top of that same page, write down 3 or 4 words of who you are. Not full sentences, not poetry. I know your writers censor just a little bit and just give me 3 to 4 words of who you are. In fact, if you're super comfy and you're feeling brave, feel free to drop those into the chat. But really, this is usually for you. Okay. The next thing, write down outgoing. Love it. This goes into the next part. So yeah, you're thinking ahead. What are 3 or 4 things that suggest your personality? And you can go ahead and list those things too.
Sorry, I didn't have a pen. You
You're
said
okay.
this, make a stick, and then what? What was that?
Like a stick figure of you.
Okay.
And then above that, write down the 3 or 4 words of who you are. So just basic words of who you are. And then 3 or 4 things that would suggest your personality. Like Danny's got written the outgoing, open-minded, helpful, caring. That's more of her personality. So the things that she wrote down, I apologize, Danny, I'm not seeing there it is. Writer, speaker, that's more of who she is. Does that make sense? That's like the first question is the writer, speaker. And then 3 or 4 things that suggest your personality. Then.
Okay, so 3 words of my personality.
Correct. Okay. Next, add the items to your stick figure that will bring out your personality. So for example, a type, a style of shoe, a color of shoe. Sometimes crayons are helpful. Doesn't matter. You can draw it on there and say it's a blue heel. I have to tell you, I don't wear heels. I think if I show up on stage in heels, that is a cry for help. You should come find me. I don't wear heels. Maybe it's a hat. I know there are people who always have a hat on if they're going to be speaking, if they're going to be presenting their books, if they're going to be showing up in anything professional, they wear a hat. If so, what kind of hat? Maybe it's a jacket. Is that a leather jacket, a suit jacket? Maybe you're an 80s child like me, it's a denim jacket. So just add a few things. Red dress, love it. Add a few things to that stick figure that are going to bring out who you are. You comfy holding it up and sharing? Holding it up to the camera? Let's see. Yay, there's the red dress. What is it? What else does it say above that, Danny?
Could you have made that stick a little bit smaller? I mean,
It's in my notes, my calendar, so I have other notes that I just wrote next to. But it says
Like,
outgoing writer speaker on top of it, and my red dress is blue because I'm writing with a blue pen. Oops.
That's okay. That's okay. It could fit onto a dime. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I need an 8x10. I need to know exactly what's going on here. I work with a woman in California who always wears red. She and her daughter were able to get out of sexual slavery in the Middle East, and her purpose, her whole world is about helping other girls and women come out of that. So I'll see her at 3 and 5 day conferences, and she's got a different red dress for every single day because she can't not wear the red. Like it's that, like that's one of those where I look at that and go, your value is coming through. What matters most to you is coming through just by the color of your outfit. So it's one of those things. You don't have to always wear your brand colors, but when you have something that's a part of your brand that is so a part of you that you can't take it off, that says something. So here's a couple other things to maybe consider. Where in your outfit or what you just drew are your values coming out? So for example, if you are vegan or you're an animal rights person, you would never wear leather anything. For some, that includes faux leather. Like you don't even want to allude to the leather. If one of your values is design or art, maybe everything you wear coordinates or there's symmetry to it. For some people who are, and I know you've probably seen these people out in live events as well. They're very love-centered. They're very people. So they always have great big pockets. When they walk around, they can share little gifts. Like I've been handed little jeweled hearts or polished rocks. Like they didn't go out and get them out of the driveway. They brought them with them because it means something to them. They're sharing that. Or they'll have a great big bag that's full of extra water bottles. So if they see somebody who needs water, there's a water bottle, just have it. That shares their values with me based on what they're carrying with them and how they show up like that. Does that make sense? Especially during the pandemic when we were all locked in, but even now, what's your hair doing? Like, are you just letting it grow wild? Like, it's fine. People understand that it's not who you are. That is not a priority for you. Or are you one who, even with absolutely no experience, you choose to color and cut your own hair because you're busy, but there's a certain thing you gotta look a certain way for you. Or are you totally styled up to the nines, even if it's not your YouTube recording day? Like, that's just how you present yourself. There's no wrong or right to any of this, but it's how you're presenting yourself, how you're showing up in person, on a Zoom call, in your book, on your bio page, that lets us know, gives us a little insight into who you actually are and what you value. And if it doesn't, this is a really great opportunity to go back and take a look at it. Like, I want to get into the photos in just a second, but something to note, the amount of time it took for you to draw that figure and add a few things to it is about triple the amount of time that your ideal reader is going to put into deciding if they're going to buy your book or not. That's why I recommend that people take it seriously, because it can really make or break whether a reader actually gets your book and reads it. And for me, and I'm sure you, I wrote my books because I wanted people to read them. I wanted their life to be affected. So if you're like that, I want you to take a little extra time and care about this kind of a thing too. So I want to uncover some of these tips to help people buy your book, even if they don't know you personally. So tip number one, you
Amber,
must, yes,
ask a quick question. So would
yes,
you
absolutely.
say that the cover of the book should be something like our stick that you just mentioned?
Your author photo on the cover of, or on like whether that's on the inside of the jacket or on the back. Yes.
No, no,
I
no,
think
like
it's,
on the cover, like I was just thinking out loud that maybe a, like a caricature of
oh,
myself, like what you just gave an
yeah,
example. Could that be like a cover page of a book?
it depends on what kind of book you're writing. What kind of book are you writing?
It was just about myself.
Oh, so like it's a biography type, like it's about you
Yeah,
ish,
yeah.
adjacent. In which case, either this gets into a little deeper, but here's the thing. Do you want to show up as a caricature or do you want to show up as you? There's no wrong answer. I don't have an answer that I'm going to try to catch you with, but it's how you want to show up. Do you want
From,
to put your face on it, on your cover?
oh yeah, probably.
You know what I mean? In which case, a caricature, some kind of a stick figure or an artist rendering may not be what you're looking for. It may be better to have a photo,
No,
right?
not a photo. No, no, of course not. Just like a character, like you know these kids
Yeah,
character,
yeah,
like kids drawing of some
right,
sort.
right.
Yeah, like not a real picture.
Why not a real picture?
I don't know. That seems very egotistical. I just like have my own picture on my book.
You're you're writing a whole book about you
Yeah,
that
but
you want people to pick up and read and consume in it, right?
right. But the thing is it's going to be inside the book anyways. I mean, my picture and the author is going to be inside. Why would I put it on the outside?
So that they know it's you.
I wouldn't purchase a book. I mean, I don't go purchasing books of people's picture. I even actually, I have whenever I see people's picture on the book, I purposely don't buy it. I'm like, come on, it's already inside. Why would I want to get a picture of you outside? I don't know. That's how I look at books. I don't
In
buy.
in which case, maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you wouldn't put your picture on the cover. Lula, what's up? What are you thinking?
Hi Amber. Hi everybody.
I
Um, aren't you talking about the picture that goes actually inside of the book?
We are
I mean the little picture
the
that
little,
they talk about
yeah,
who the hell is who wrote
right,
this thing.
right,
Yeah. Okay.
right.
So it's curious that we talk about it because I actually never thought that people even look at you. Like, I mean, they look at the cover, they read the short story of what they will have inside of this book, but I never thought that people actually go and check how the person looks like in this small photo. So if it's really so, it's very curious.
Yeah. It's how we get to know you. Like we
Hmm.
want to be able to connect with you. And the whole point of this, and I love that you said that because I'm like, exactly. You're one of those authors that their brand is on page 10,
Hmm.
right? Of the list of things that we get so focused on, I need to write my story. I need to get it right. I need to use the right words. I need to make sure I'm getting in the right, like I want to put this in the right light and I want to make sure I get the right audience to read it and get the right publisher to help and all those things. Like there's a pile of reasons, of things to focus on that don't include your photo. And yet it's how we get a chance to even connect with you at all. So that when we don't know who you are, we don't know what your story is, I can see somebody's face and go, ooh, I want to know more about them. Or, I mean, I'm going to butcher your name. Hangama? Hangam?
It's hangame, hangame,
Hangama. Hangaman.
hang. Yeah.
To her point, there's a, if that turns you off, then why would you read the book? But your most ideal people are going to look at that and go, yeah, okay, what
Really?
do they have to say?
If
If
I'm
that's who you are, if
biography,
that's
that's
who you are,
different.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I think if I was writing a biography, that would be different, right?
Right. So this
And
is, I apologize if I misunderstood. I thought you were writing a biography, but no.
no.
Are you writing first person from your own perspective?
Yeah.
Is it a fiction or nonfiction?
It's just my personal story.
Something to consider.
To write a
There's
biography?
no, put your picture on the cover. Large and beautiful and fabulous.
Interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah. If you look at someone like,
I've never like bought a book. I never bought a biography book.
what's really great about it is if you hear about somebody who's written a book. So for example, if there's some political figure, if there's some celebrity, if there's some icon, and like, I know they have a memoir out, I can find their face from across the bookstore room and go, oh, there it is. I just beeline right for it and I've got it. But it's because I know I want to know more about them. If you're an unknown author, I need to be able to see into your face. I need to see your eyes. So if that's great big on the cover, or if that's a little mugshot on the back, it matters. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I can actually make it a biography. Interesting.
I don't mean to derail your whole, you and Danny are creating, you write your book the way you want to.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're right.
You're welcome. Okay, so here is the very first tip to creating this buzz and to create momentum into some more books. You must commit to be seen. And that's a part of legend branding. Most authors want to be seen. I mean, we are, after all, trying to sell a book and we want people to buy it, but most authors don't really understand what this means. So ask yourself first, like, what does being seen mean to you? For some, they put a book up on Amazon and call it a day, and it's good. That's being seen for them. Others, they put a book up on a number of publishing websites and Amazon, and then they stop there. Others will put the book up, they'll put up an author's bio page, and then that's good. And then others go all out. They have a full expanse. There's an author website. Do you all have an author's website? If not, talk to Danny. She can totally hook you up. So there's some people who will do the author's website, the emails, social media, promotion kit, book announcement, podcast promo package, speaker one sheet. I mean, all the things. So you get to decide what being seen means to you. You do not have to do it all at once. This is not, Amber, I'll take package A and now you're lined up. Now you are stuck with that. Just know that there's levels to being seen, and each level has its benefits and some work that goes with it. Putting your face on your book is one level of being seen. Putting a caricature on your book is one level of being seen. It just depends on how you want to do it. So let's dive just a little bit deeper into that and talk about how beyond the places you want to be seen. Because there's being seen, and then there's being seen for who you are. So how do you want to be seen? If you were asked key questions about yourself, how would you answer? And you don't have to answer them out loud, but something to consider. In fact, I'll make sure, Danny, if it's okay, maybe I'll go through and post this in the group so you can actually take a look at it. But what are 3 things that you say about yourself all the time that people really want to hear? When you're writing, are you using your real name? Are you using a pen name? Some kind of a combination? When you put the picture on the back of the book jacket, how are you showing up as you? Like, are you wearing that typical, I think, stereotypical stuffy author outfit? It's a real photo. Or something that looks more provocative, like maybe an untypical author photo. How do you show the real you? Do we see a background? Like, so we can know where you've been. Maybe it's you in front of the Eiffel Tower, or you in the woods of California. Or do we just see the outline of your head from clear up and it's gray or black in the background, maybe blue? Do you smile, or are you very serious in your photo? There's no wrong answers. It's just they're all branding decisions, and they give us an opportunity to understand more about who you are before we even buy your book. These things can make a huge difference, like more than we realize, in how somebody sees you. Because really, it's a combination of the little things and the major things. Are you using an updated photo of yourself, or one that's like 20 years old and looks more like your younger sister or your child? So people won't even recognize you because, no, that was a good hair day. I'm keeping that photo. It makes me happy. What you decide to use says something about you and your brand, and it speaks volumes about the message you're conveying. It leads into the experience people are having of you, and that in turn leads to whether they want to buy your book. So, total bonus, this is a legend action step, also known as homework. You could totally do this today. Check your book, your bio page, your Patreon community. If you have a community page, what does that look like? What did you use for your picture? You may want to change it. You may want to update it. It may be spot on and leave it exactly the way it is. But ask yourself, how does the way you're revealing the author you align with your brand in the way that you want the world to see you? If what we see about you and your book doesn't align with your brand, we are far less likely to buy your book. And if we find out after we buy your book that something isn't aligned, we're not going to read it. So do yourself a favor. Think about how you want to be seen as an author. What is the image you want to convey? And then commit to making sure that everything people see about you, everything you put out into the world, and everything that somebody shows on your behalf is consistent, that it's congruent. Does that make sense? Okay. We're going to go to tip number 2. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so are you talking about maybe using the same photo in all of these different places as well?
You can absolutely use the same photo. You absolutely do not have to. What I would highly recommend is, am I getting the same feeling? So if it's the same outfit but a different pose, that's one thing. If it's you're showing up in red in everything, even if the pose is different, even one of them's out you in the field, or you've got your hair in a fun pony or a bun, versus I'm in a studio, I'm looking very, very serious because my book is very serious and that's who I am. That's where I'm going to get the disconnect. Does that make sense? So it's how do you want me to feel when I see it? Like, hey, by the way, you know what? I'm totally accessible. Come on in. I got you. Let's read this story together. Or is it you just leave your comments and questions at the door and I'll reply within 48 hours? Like, those are two extremes. But whatever the photo is you're using, if it's the same one or if it's a different one, I want to be able to feel that same you coming out. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, great. Tip number 2. You must be seen early and often. Most authors don't realize that if your readers don't get an opportunity to look at you, your book cover, and all the other key pieces of your story until after your book is finished, you drastically cut down the likelihood that they'll buy. So don't do that. It's why running a campaign beforehand is such a smart brand move, because you need more than the, okay, it's done, please come buy it, visibility. You don't have to take my word on this. Google has done a study looking at how much somebody has to see something or someone before they buy. And that study proved you need to multiple touch points in multiple places over multiple periods of time before they're going to buy. So it's not even like, and this is something that I've seen, so please don't like, where it's my book is done, I'm going to launch it. I even have a team that's going to help me, but it's over the course of 48 hours, I'm going to poke you with a stick 7 times and hope like crazy you're still going to come buy for me. That's not how it works. Like, the people who feel obligated are going to buy it. Your mom's probably going to buy it, or they'll buy it and not read it, or lie and tell you that they read it, or be honest and they don't care that they hurt your feelings and tell you they didn't read it because they don't want to. But to get a cold, what essentially is a cold audience, you get to warm them up and say, this is, and part of that is me sharing the story. Again, I think it's so brilliant that you're part of Jenny's group, because you are in essence with a smaller audience, sharing part of your process, sharing part of what you're going through, getting people excited about that publication, that result, while experiencing everything you're going through. I think it's brilliant. There are parts of that you get to share with a larger audience, with your potential people. Oh my goodness, I got to this page. I'm so excited. I can't wait till you read it. Oh my goodness, this part is just giving me a headache. I want to make sure it lands right. And so I'm really, this one sentence, I can't believe I have an entire book and this sentence is kicking my butt. Like whatever that is, there are things you get to do beforehand, letting people know. And maybe it's, hey, by the way, you know what? This book is coming out in April. Let's see, it's April now. This book is coming out in June or July. So excited. Can't share it all now, but just know that that's what I'm working on. So if I don't reply to you immediately, it's because I am head down into my book. You start letting people understand what you're doing and you start getting people exposed to that. So start promoting your book well before you finish it. Because if you don't, you're going to run that risk that the only one who's going to buy your book is your fan. And they're going to need a reminder or 5 to go do it. So take how you want to be seen as an author and break it into tiny components. What are your values? Why are you writing? What's your writing journey look like? Who's the book's main character? When's your first draft going to be done? These are all things that you can share before the book is done. I mean, there is for those who like accountability, there's also a level of accountability going, okay, I just shared this and now, oh, crud, now I actually have to go do it. But that could be good too, right? Like I put it in writing and shared it with the world and okay, here we go then, right? Share it with others, not just on your Amazon author bio and your website, but in your emails, your social media, your promotion kit, like all the things everywhere. And then think through every single touch point you'll be having with your potential readers and make sure you're showing up in brand aligned in every one of these places. I know this can probably feel a lot like a lot, especially if you're still writing, because that is a whole monster thing in and of itself. And then all this other stuff is piled on a bit. All it takes is to uncover one thing you didn't previously consider, one comment that Dani makes, or one thought from an expert she brings in, and it can save you a ton of heartache or author ache, right? Then I hope it's okay. If it feels like this might be helpful to talk through some of this a little deeper and maybe even get it done together, let Dani know. In fact, you can drop it into the chat like, I want more, and let us know what you're missing so we can see how to best support you in this. Because here's the one thing. If you don't give any time or thought to how you want your audience to experience you before you finish your book, your audience will not give you any time or thought when you've got your book done. Okay, now let's get into it a little bit further. This is tip number 3. Dani, how are we doing on time? Do I have just a couple more minutes? Maybe?
Yeah, a few more
I will
minutes.
speed speak. So here's the thing. You must be experienced by your audience. And this one has several parts. The first is personal moxie. And it's not just about getting loud, although that helps. It's about committing to how you will be experienced when you have your work seen. Because if you really believe that somebody is out there in pain from a journey similar to yours, and they can learn from your story and alleviate their pain, or if you have a great story that somebody needs to hear, or you've gone through something and you think it'll help people like find a different purpose in life, how people experience you will make a big difference in whether or not they buy your book and read your story. So part of that is like your personal swagger. For some of us, it's a rock star swagger. Others, it's wallflower. Some it's party girl. Some it's nerd. Some it's, we all have our special way of being in the world. And when we are in flow with who we are, we have our own unique version of Moxie. So how are you letting yours show up? The photos, the cover, the bio, it's all branding and it's all a part of the experience that we get. And it's part of our decision to buy your book or set up a book signing for you in our shop. There's a lot more to go into that, but here's the bottom line. No matter how great your book is, and I'm sure it's amazing, you can't rely on the inside of your book to sell it. You've got to do something intentionally outside of the book. And part of that's marketing and part of that's branding, and all of it works better if we experience you and your unique way of being in the world, which is your Moxie. So the second part of that is speaking. Are you going to be talking about your book on podcasts, with friends, lives, chats, even here in school? Not in a go buy my book kind of way, but in a way that those who do professional speaking know so well. It's how to leverage your story, connecting to their story, sharing snippets ahead of time to make people want to read it. Dani's speaking all over like crazy. I'm sure that's a part of it, especially when you show up with your personal moxie in place. So really quick, let's just do a 5-second exercise. This one's really simple. No drawing. Why are you writing a book? Because everybody's going to ask you that at some point. If that's on a podcast, if you're on stage over coffee, the author reviews on Amazon, what are you writing about and why do you care? Please feel free to drop that in the chat if you're really brave. Yeah, you can be sort of brave and still drop it in the chat. The thing is, most of us write a book because there's something deep inside us we want to share. But then we write our why, and it starts sounding generic and formulaic and cerebral and super pretty and even poetic and totally void of anything that is about us. I want to help others heal from a toxic family member. Love that. And there's 10,000 people who can say that. Right? So it's about putting the time in. And Danny, I only pick on you because thank you so much for sharing. I pick on you because I know you can handle it. But it's not about doing it wrong. It's about looking at that and going, okay, awesome. That's the first level. How do I kick that up a notch and go, okay, how can I tell that this is for me? How can I share so that my audience goes, oh, this is why Danny is writing it. This is what her purpose is. This is why she cares. Like, this is going to speak to so many people just as it is. It's about taking that and cranking it up a notch, making sure it speaks about you with your other people. I am absolutely doing my happy dance for everyone here because it's not too late to change all of this and to edit it to where it makes sense for you. There's no one specific way to do it as long as it makes sense for you. So whatever your go-to personality is, the snarky, the funny, the deep, soulful, pessimistic, it's all, I mean, maybe it's about the kind of book you're writing. Can we bring a little bit more of that out? Like if you're writing to help people with cancer, disease, change their story and identities, that's amazing. Is it a serious look at this? Is it a sarcastic look at this? Is it a self-help? I mean, you know what I mean? Like there's ways to bring more of that out so that when I read this, I go, that's so mine. And I'm buying 10 copies because my entire family needs to read this book. Like I can look at that and go, people with cancer, EGAT, lost my father to cancer 3 years ago. I have 7 siblings. Every one of us needs to read this book. But without understanding part of why, like what that feels like, well, my brother's not going to want a serious. My other sister's not going to want, share a little bit more of that so we understand that it's for us. And we could spend an entire hour and a half workshop to do it. In fact, if you want to dive in for that, just call or let Danny know. But the thing is, most people can't just flip a switch on command and write with all their personality sparkling and connecting. I mean, it requires creative thinking. As authors, you know what that's like. You're like, I have my story, but I can't find the right words and it's got to be in the right order. And I want to make sure it's right for me. But most authors don't spend the amount of time to get their bio or their why with the same attention they actually give to writing the book. Or when they try, they get what is essentially a moxie block. They know what it is and they know how it feels, but they just can't say what it is about themselves that makes them worthy of having their book read. So some don't try. Don't do that. Going forward from here, you know better. You have resources. Reach out, get some support into creating it so that we can feel you. Because when we read those things, that's what makes us decide we want to read the book. So there are definitely ways. There are ways to get through this process, and some of it is I just need to write the damn book, Amber. I just want to get it done. Can I just get it done? And the others is I want to finish the book first, and then I'm going to go and look at this other stuff that you're talking about. Or I'm going to think about this a little bit, but really I'm going to focus on my book, but I'm going to have that in my head the whole time. And then another way is I can take the steps to give my book that best chance of being read, of being purchased by more people and shared by more people. So I'm going to do the steps it takes to get there. If somebody will just let me know what the steps are. Which one are you? There's no right or wrong answer. It's the best part about branding. But it's just about being intentional and committing to one of them is a huge step in that direction. And all of this, everything we talked about with Moxie and everything we talked about with speaking leads us to the one key decision you get to make. Who can that?
I'm
That's
sorry,
beautiful.
Amber. Did you ask a
Yes.
question? What was your question?
Yes, this is going to lead to that key question. Here's the key question. But before I ask the key question, please share in the chat your favorite author. Like one that you are the most like, or that you think your book is most likely to be similar to. Whatever makes them your favorite, share that in the chat, please.
I mean, I have a few favorite, but it's not their style that I haven't figured out what style yet I'm doing. So it's not
Perfect.
really related.
Then find one that you enjoy most, even if it's not related at all to your story or your book writing. Who do you enjoy? Who's an author that you enjoy?
Yuval Harari.
Yuval Harari. What do they write?
He wrote *Sapiens*, and he's writing.
Oh,
Wrote
I
next.
knew that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I know Sapiens. Okay, I'm like, I knew that name.
His book
Very
next.
good. Okay. Take you on an adventure inspires you and helps you grow. Love it. Love it. So the fact that you haven't already dropped off this call tells me that you already know the answer to the key decision you need to make. Some people go through life and they do what's minimal viable. Just good enough, get it done. I've never met an author who actually looks at life that way. You might be the first if that's you, but judgment, I haven't met any of them. Some people look for excellence. They're doing the best they can in that moment, and maybe that's the best that's out there. And there's a few, I have a sense that this could be you since you're here. They commit to something more. They commit to go legend. And legend is that unique place where your brand, including your moxie, the way you talk about things, the way you connect with people. We didn't cover connection today. That's a different thing. How you show up, it's all legend. And the cool thing is everything you do with your brand, with moxie, with speaking, the way you connect, it's how you get an experience out there that's unforgettable. But it all starts with a decision. This is the key question. Are you more of a minimal viable kind of person? Or do you want to leave people with an experience where they remember you in such a way they talk about you, and when they see you on the street, they freak out and fangirl over you and like scream, "Oh my God, there's a legend." It's intentional. It's magical. And it's about more than one book or just you. It's about changing somebody's experience of you in a way that it's not just a fleeting moment or for as long as they're currently reading the book, but it's for all time. So where are you and how committed are you to becoming legend? Your favorite authors, to join the ranks of people like Elizabeth Gilbert, Stephen King, J.K. Rowling, John Grisham, Roald Dahl. It's easy to look at them and say, well, they're legend because they have all these books and they have all these readers and they've been successful for years, but that's actually backward. They have all these books. They have all those readers and have been successful for so long because they committed to do more. They committed to step into the more that they were meant to be, to go past what was good and even past excellent and go on to legend. Doing so is an intentionally crafted path. Slightly different for each person, but similar components. And it all starts with that commitment to do more than minimal viable and more than excellent. And the really great news is it's not just about, well, I'm going to put on my author jacket, I'm going to put on my legend cape, I'm going to go be legend as an author. It's about being legend in all the things. So where are you in that desire to becoming unforgettable, to really step into the more and to be seen as legend? So I invite you, let me see if I can find a place. I want to invite you to say this with me. This is the legend author mantra. I commit to become unforgettable on the road to legend. For those who are ready, A, I salute you. That's a hell of a thing. And B, I invite you to say this out loud with me. Ready? I commit to become unforgettable on the road to legend. This is one of those things, if you're a sticky note kind of person, or if you're like this is a sticky note, lipstick on the mirror kind of a thing, because every time you look at it, I commit to being legend. I commit to becoming unforgettable. And whatever it is you're doing that day, whatever level that is, that's where you're headed. the most important thing I have to share with you today, out of everything I said, don't let this be the end. When you think about your brand, let this be the beginning, because the League of Legends awaits you. Thank you.
Wow, that was powerful, Amber. Thank you.
Thank you for the extra time. I'm glad we had a chance to dive in a little bit.
Yes, thank you. That was awesome.
I'm gonna
And-
write
pleasure.
that, and then so it reminds me every morning. I commit to become unforgettable on the road to legend.
Mm, yeah, and I think
Especially if you say it out loud, you can hear your voice and it resonates deeper.
Okay, and
That's
then when
scientific. That's not just my
okay,
own woo. That's scientific.
so what do you suggest saying after when I publish the book?
I don't think it should. You're
Well,
still
it
committed to
says
becoming unforgettable.
unforgettable on the road to legend. But if you publish the book and you're already a legend, then it should change, no?
Publishing a book just publishing a book doesn't make you legend. There are
Oh,
a
it
lot
doesn't.
of one-hit wonders out there, right? Like there's a lot of people who have written a book, but they're not legend. Their
Yeah,
book is published.
but if you keep saying you're becoming a legend, then the book
Yes.
won't do well. So you got to change the message, no?
I don't think so. I think you're still becoming unforgettable because I get to experience you, even though you have 10 published books, one published book. I still get to experience you
Okay, got
so that
it.
you become unforgettable to me. Does
Okay,
that make
got
sense?
it. Unforgettable is more important than the legend.
At that point, yeah. Because legends are unforgettable. It's part of what separates them from being an icon or a celebrity.
Okay, got it.
I know. It's a lot to put into 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So I get it. And I'm around. I'm in the group. So if you have questions, holler. You know where to find me. Thank you all for
cool.
your time.
Thank you so much. It was amazing.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you everyone, and thank you, Amber. I truly believe that this is going to help loads of people out there. And since I have the recording, and the people that haven't showed up, they can watch the recording. And yeah, there's a lot of gems in this. And I think a lot of people, especially when it comes to writing a book, they don't understand how important it is to have your brand out there and having a strategy. So thank you for being
My pleasure.
cool.
Thank
Okay.
you, Amber. Thank you, Danny.
Yes, thank you. All right, everyone, it is good night and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.